All right, guys, I'm here with Professor Deon Thompson, my coach, and we just finished up an awesome seminar in black belt promotion. Just kind of want to interview him and ask him a few questions today. Deon, how are you today?
Man, I'm great. Always great. Good to see you. Man,
Fantastic.
great seminar, good energy. It's awesome.
Always. So what is your background and how did you get into jiu-jitsu?
So, unfortunately, I never wrestled. I was a basketball player, college basketball player, scholarship athlete. I always tease a lot of my black belts, which you're one of them. 'Cause a lot of guys come from a wrestling background. I always say, you guys had to come to a basketball player to actually learn how to grapple. So I started in 2000, kind of like everybody else, but my fraternity brother gave me a videotape of the early UFC, and I saw Royce Gracie, and I was just amazed. And I was blessed because it's a funny story how I really found these guys. I'm at work, and I had a magazine, and the magazine had a picture of Saulo Ribeiro on it. There's a lady walks by my desk and says, "Oh, hey, he's here." I said, no. This guy's Brazilian. He's in Brazil. He said, "No, he's here. My husband trains with him." I was like, you don't know what you're talking about. So she gives me a flyer of a seminar, and I go. And sure enough, he's there. There were only 6 of us at that seminar at the time.
No kidding.
Yeah, so that's how I got my start. I learned the Saulo and Shanji Ribeiro. I was with them all the way up through purple belt at Chris Blanky's place. And then from late 2006, 2007, I was with my professor, Kim Credo, who's out of Chicago, another world champion. So I like to say I've been blessed to only learn from Brazilian world champions, and that's how I developed my style, kind of using a mixture of what they both taught me.
Awesome. What major ways have you seen the scene and culture change over the years?
Well, you know, one thing, and this is probably gonna rub some people the wrong way, but I have to be honest. Back in the day, we never made a big deal out of the gi and no gi. We just did jiu-jitsu. And I feel now, sometimes with the no gi stuff, you see a lot of incidents there. And I think we're losing the martial part that the gi puts on. You know, everybody wants to be, we are the same, we're equal. Well, no, you're not equal to a white belt. You're a black belt. You've put the time in and you've earned that, you know. So I think just the difference. And then, you know, you hear a lot of no-gi guys say, "Oh, I'm not putting the gi on." But the gi guys, we would take ours off. And if you look at the ADCCs, still the best guys in the world train gi. You know, even Gordon, all the good guys, they all trained in the gi. Make no mistake about it.
Absolutely. So you don't necessarily think there's a split between gi and no gi that much. You just think it's jiu-jitsu.
Well, it is. There's clearly a divide now because I'm seeing a lot of schools who are switching primarily to no gi. They're doing promotions with no gi. If you're gonna put a belt around a guy no gi, I don't get it. Why? Then technically, you're still endorsing the gi. But it is nice to see jiu-jitsu growing. I think there's a lot of money in no gi. But what a lot of people won't talk about either, my concern is even though we train no gi, I know there's a lot of skin infections. I'm familiar with the wrestlers. Like I have a ton of wrestlers at my school, and they always talked about when they were in high school, man, the skin infections were out of control. I still think the gi presents a little bit of a barrier, and obviously you have to keep it clean and that sort of thing. But I love that it's more popular. I will say that jiu-jitsu as a whole, because they call it no gi jiu-jitsu, and I'm here for it.
Yeah, absolutely. So what are your thoughts on the importance of competition?
You know, Mike, I know you're asking this for the camera, but I am big on competitions, and here's why. I know you guys train a lot of self-defense, and I tell people, you know, how else can you really simulate what's gonna happen to you in a real life situation? How can you get that stress under you? You can't get it by practice. You get it by going to the tournament, learning how to deal with that physiological adrenal response that the tournament presents. And it's not about winning or losing. You're going to show that, okay, I'm stressed out, I'm nervous, and I can still move my body. And that's what I like to stress even on you and the rest of my students. That's why competition is important. The medals are nice. I know a lot of people say, well, and I've heard this before, it's easy for you to say, Coach, because you win a lot. Even if I didn't win, that has nothing to do with why I do it. Because I was talking to a gentleman today, and he said, hey, you know, in terms of competition, I'm an older guy. Sometimes it's hard. What do you think of competing? I said, man, I think it's great. He said, yeah, but the guys are much younger than me. I said, let me ask you something. If you are in the meat section of Kroger and a little guy comes up, slaps you or does something, are you going to say, hey, ho, take your ID out. Let me see how old you are, how much you weigh.
Yeah.
You don't have time to do that. You got to quickly assess the situation, and you have to be able to handle the situation. Because ultimately, I came through the doors, you came through the doors, our student came through the doors to learn how to defend themselves.
Cool.
So what's the best way to let them know that the stuff works is to put them in a competition.
Absolutely. What does it mean to you to have a black belt?
It means a lot. I'm gonna tell you, I've done a lot of things. Like I said, I've had scholarships. I've been pretty successful in my personal life, but one of the hardest things and most rewarding things I've done was achieve this black belt. And getting it from my professor, Camprito, that meant the world, because when he doesn't just give out black belts. So when I got the black belt, and I got it, ironically, shortly after I lost to Pans in the finals as a brown belt. And he ended up, giving me the black belt. And I thank him for that, because for me, that let me know that, okay, I can carry the belt. My professor trusted I'm going to do the right thing with this belt. And that's why I have you guys. Now I have black belts under me, which is amazing, you know?
Absolutely. Do you have a favorite tale or story from coming up, whether competition or training or?
Yeah, I got a couple. So one of my fondest memories was winning the Pans. I had lost in 2011 and as a brown belt. And I didn't win it until 2020 as a black belt. So when you're talking 9 years, and that's a long time to go without winning. And for me, that was like huge, because I was so, you saw the emotion. We got a picture up of me crying and all that garbage, but emotion just really hit me, because I know how bad I wanted it. And my professor was there to see it, and that was cool. And also, I just had a total knee replacement in February, because people will ask, is it partial? How are you back out here? And another one was winning the Worlds with you, man.
Yeah, that's great.
That was huge for me, and it was no gi. My goal was to prove that I love the gi, but I wanted to prove to myself that, you know what, jiu-jitsu is jiu-jitsu. I had a very good opponent, and just to be able to come back from what I came back from with my knee and be able to do a competition, that was huge for me.
Yeah.
So those are my good memories.
That was incredible to see this year. That was great.
Oh, man.
Yep. So yeah, I think that's all we got for today. Appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Listen, if you guys are watching this, if you're in Columbus, come see this guy. He is, without a doubt, one of the best technical teachers that you're gonna find. And he competes, and he's just an all-around good guy. I'm so proud. He's my youngest black belt right now. So come see him. And I love what's going on down here in Columbus. Thanks for having me. It's Deon Thompson Jiu-Jitsu on Facebook, on IG. Come in the Endeavor. See Mike Cheney. See this handsome guy.
Appreciate it. See ya. Thanks, Coach.
Is that cool?
Appreciate it. Absolutely. Perfect.